Part 2. Supporting Verses. Exodus chapter 20 verse 3 says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." The Bible is full of cross-references where the same kind of ideas and themes are mentioned in a lot of different places throughout the Bible. This is done so that we can see the proof in the Bible and that the different chapters in the Bible are able to prove themselves right. It can also be done to help prove and to show just exactly how important some Bible topics are just by the number of different times that they are mentioned in different places. This is just like the example that we can find of the same 10 commandments mentioned again over in Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 7, in which it says, "Thou shalt have none other gods before me." This verse in Deuteronomy is almost the exact same copy that the original version had that was mentioned just over in Exodus chapter 20 verse 3. Just by these two verses over in Exodus and in Deuteronomy, we can see the importance of this topic just by the repetition of this theme is being able to convey God's desire for us to obey this and to keep His commandment. However, it isn't just these two chapters where you can see this same theme mentioned. There are a lot of other places where you can find this same theme of having no other gods mentioned throughout the Bible. In Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 14, it says, "You shall not go after other gods of the people all around you." Here is a reference to the same theme, but in a different chapter of Deuteronomy. This verse even goes a step further. It not only starts off with a reference to having no other gods, but it also provides a kind of warning here too, where it talks about the gods of the people around you. It also provides a warning that there are going to be people that are around us that might have these other gods, meaning anyone but the one true God. Just because there are other gods that are around us doesn't mean that we can give in to them. Just because that there are going to be other gods that are around us doesn't mean that we need to give in to temptations and to follow or even to listen to them. This is the warning that we are given in this verse here. Joshua chapter 24 verse 20 says, "If you forsake Jehovah and serve strange gods, then He will turn and do you harm and destroy you after He hath done you good." In this instance of following and serving other gods, its words are strict, saying that if we ever do serve another god, that we will be forsaking the true God Jehovah. Through that, our God is a jealous God, and we can remember and look back to Exodus whenever we first are given the commandment of having no other gods before Him. This goes back to whenever we talk about what exactly a commandment means. It means that we're supposed to be treating it like a law given by God for us to follow. So when we relook at this last verse from Joshua, we can see that whenever we are told that we must only serve the one true God as our God and have no other gods before Him, whenever we instead take other gods to serve strange gods, as it talks about in this verse, we take His commandment that we are given and disobey it and just throw it out the window. So whenever we serve strange gods, it means that we are forsaking the commandment of God. Not only that, but it also means that we are turning our backs to God and give credit to another fake and false god instead. In Psalms chapter 81 verse 9, it says, "There shall be no strange god in you, nor shall you worship any strange god." We have established that we shouldn't worship any false or fake god, and this commandment is again talked about in the last half of this verse. However, the start of this verse here words it in a different way, as in having a strange god in us. When it uses this phrasing of in us, it means that we have accepted Him into our hearts, and that means it is set within, and it is hard to change and to make a difference in that change. It's like just saying, from the bottom of my heart. Whenever you say with this attached to it, it means that it is undoubtedly true. So when it is wording it as a strange god in you, as it warns us about having something in our hearts, thinking it's true when it's actually fake because it comes from a false god. The Hebrew meaning of this word strange means to turn aside, to be a foreigner, strange, profane, to commit adultery. Looking back at this definition and applying it to this verse, it serves as a warning. It doesn't just mean serving other gods, but it can also apply to anything that might try and to turn you away from God and from the truth. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24 says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." When we look at the end of this verse, it talks about serving two different gods, the true God and this mammoth. However, when we look at this definition of this word here, it means the treasure a person trusts in, and also riches, money, possessions, and property. This verse here shows us that we can serve other gods, but it not actually being a god in the traditional sense of the word. Instead, it could just be anything that we put as a higher priority than anything else, like it does with money in this example.